mic test, Uncle Lance. You can just say, hi, I'm Lance Foster, and my son is in the Premier League.
Can I say it? I'm Lance Foster, and my son is in the Premier League.
Super. How's it, guys? My name is Delmain Faver, soccer Laduma journalist, and today we are going international. Our third episode of Diski Dads. And if you look to my left, we have the father of Premier League striker. He plays for Burnley, Lyle Foster. This is the man who I think we need to credit for him. Lance Foster, his father. Lance, thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us, and also thank you so much for your time. Thank you for inviting us into your wonderful home. The question I start off with first when I do these interviews is, how do you feel to be the father of Lyle Foster, South African striker who is hoisting the flag very high, who's doing extremely well in his profession, whether it's for his club, whether it's for his country, but someone that fills us with immense pride?
Yeah, so obviously, we've been asked that a lot of times. So obviously, again, I always tell people, for me, is obviously, as a dad, obviously, you're just happy that your kid's living his dream. Because obviously, I think with me, growing up, and all our friends and kids, always their dream is to be a professional soccer player and live their dream. So for me, just to see Lyle obviously living his dream, it's like just, pride for the family, So for me, besides everything that comes with it, it's just obviously him living his dream, So yeah, that's the most exciting thing, that obviously we're just happy his dream came true.
What was he like as a kid?
Obviously, very like a quiet, reserved kid, doesn't talk a lot, but obviously like any kid, all day in the street playing football, so obviously we grew up, we stayed in Florida when we was born. So obviously our families are from Noordgesig, so we used to take him most school holidays and weekends to go play in the streets there. So he was, always just, as any kid want to play football 24/7. And obviously at school he was a smart kid. So for us, he's always told us he has become a CA, a chartered accountant. So because he was like good at numbers and he was good in accounting and maths. So that was his dream, become a CA. So like I said, he was a quiet to himself, and obviously soccer also took most of his time. So he was mostly at training over the fields.
When I asked around, I understood that you were, number one, a phenomenal athlete. They said you were quite quick, and then they said you were a good football player yourself. So would you say that Lyle's talent, the one we see now, is something that runs in the family?
I think so. Obviously, me and my wife always argue uncles are also good football players, and my dad was obviously, when I grew up, everyone used to tell me about my dad playing in Noordgesig. He was like the best centre back. So for me, it was also like one of you. I was very fast at school to make your whole thing in athletics, and obviously I think the furthest I went was NFT, and I was at Bidvest. I think those years they called it Celtic Colts, so I can't remember the Colts team.
I had something like that.
So so obviously, also like me, I had a dream, and I think I had a potential. But again, not all of us get to live our dream, or dreams come possible. But I think I do see similarity in myself. So I think I can say some of it comes from me.
The other day, the journalist in me came out, and I was snooping through some of his mother's social media. She obviously documented everything. I saw that at school he was an athlete as well. He was, I'd say, probably as good at athletics as he was at football, because he was always on the podium, always getting medals. When did he decide football is the thing that he wants to do?
I think at the early age, obviously, I think his first team ever we took him to was in Bosman. Because obviously, for us, our generation, Bosman was like
You started
we
Bosman, yes.
were like Bosman was our TDL or whatever we call it, because everyone in our era obviously played there, and obviously, yeah. So for me, we took him to a team. I can't remember the team's Real Super Reds. I can't remember, but then obviously,
yes, I remember
Real, yeah. Then obviously, someone referred us to Florida and we took him there. But like you said, yeah. So Lyle's journey obviously was that, and like you said, soccer he was very athletic. That it was very athletic. So I think professional footballers, you'll find out most of them are very athletic. He done hockey. He went to high school. He went to Parktown Boys. Obviously, Parktown Boys, the soccer isn't that big there. So I think he done rugby for 1 or 2 years, because obviously he's athletic. He can run fast. So we tried him out in rugby. Tried him. He done hockey. Because when you're a sporty person, you try and do
in a few
a few things, and and which is good, because also you never know, like for us, and we all know that, only if you make it to professional level, so you try and also balance it out, where maybe doesn't do it successful in one thing, you can at least maybe become a rugby player or hockey player, something like that. But again, very sporty, athletic person at school and growing up. So yeah, so he was like an all-rounder basically growing up. It wasn't like, I think only maybe age 15 to 16, I think his focus just moved to soccer. But already by age 2, I was already at the Pirates Academy, the Gasto Blasters Academy was there. So yeah, I think, yeah.
I wanted to get to that. How do you guys then decide? When do you guys decide that we see potential in Lyle? We want to supplement that potential by putting him in an environment where he can grow. The Augusto Palacios Academy, which was a prestigious academy at the time. A lot of youngsters, top youngsters, went there. What was it? When was it that you guys decided that no, this is the way we want to go?
Maybe I don't think you really decide. I think things just happen. So obviously,
natural progression.
So one of my wife at my wife's work, one of the people said to her, "Hey, Pirates is having trials at Union Stadium in Westbury." And we're like, no. She said, no. That year, I think 2011, Pirates went at where they went around to all the areas.
Yes.
And they said, why don't you take Lyle there? We're like, okay, cool. Obviously, we took him here for the trial, and he made the cut. And obviously, they had to from all the different areas and go to Mayfair. So for us, like I said, we just obviously, again, everything just happened natural. It was never, me ever overthinking or thinking ahead that, because we all know that, still today, people ask me, till today, you find kids that make the national under 17 or 20 doesn't make it professional. So, the chances, maybe we're just very, if your kid, you're more, I think, negative, because, making it is impossible. And I knew no one in my family also making it. So, chances are so slim where you don't even think your own kid will make it. So you don't put your hopes on it. Because like you said, because I was also an athlete, I just enjoyed seeing your kid do athletics, just keeping busy. So it was never a time where I thought or realized there's a moment for, something will come from it,
I heard something the other day and it blew my mind. I understand that you had quit your job once football had become a bit more serious for Lyle, once he realized that this is what I want to do. You had taken the decision to quit your job so that you can drive him around, support him? I don't know if you can tell us a bit more
okay,
about that.
cool. So obviously, I think it was 2016. But I remember it was 2000, yeah, late 2016. So yeah, again, I think I just broke into age 15, broke into the Pirates MDC team, and he was at Parktown Boys. So obviously, I used to drive him, drop him at school, drive him to training, and obviously I was working in corporate, and I was a account executive. So account executive is a person that works 50% office and 50% on the road to see clients. So obviously, try to juggle that, with Lyle, trying to obviously become a footballer. So obviously, it just felt that too much pressure. And to be honest, he's also got pressurized from the company saying that picking up little mistakes because obviously you're rushing and you splitting and you thought, as a parent, I think we all sometimes sit and you think, I'm so this company. You look at your pension, you think, maybe if I leave it and try and push him, stay at home for a year and obviously support him, So obviously, I resigned the 2017, the February. I resigned, and obviously in September that year, obviously, Lyle went signed his first pro contract. So yeah, so it was like maybe 6-7 months, So obviously when they also signed, I'm not sure who told Irvin Khoza had done it, and obviously compensate me for my salary I didn't get for the 7-8 months. So yeah, I just felt that maybe it was just too much, and my wife just got a baby girl at that time, 2017. So it was like just chaos. I just maybe felt maybe I'll stay at home, and so that when I obviously got into the first team, yes, to go to school, rush him back, go to. It was like just crazy, and I thought, this is that I take a break from corporate and try and see what happens to him, But yeah, again, never thought obviously to go professional. It's just thought I'll give him the opportunity.
Talk us through when the call comes to say that Lyle has impressed us so much in the DDC, in the development, where we now want him to be a first team player, number one, and then come through and sign the contract. I remember seeing the photo of you guys as a family there with Pirates. I think at the time they had the kit with the stripes on the side, and you guys go and you sign. Talk us through that moment. Was it like we made it? Was it like thank God? What was it for you?
It was, almost leading up to that was obviously, so most people always like, so funny. I had chats with buddies now last week or something, and they asked me like, because I always like, maybe I'm just going a bit off the point, which is also not right, where sometimes there's some parents that maybe see investment in the kid.
They see the kid as their meal ticket.
The meal, So for me, I like I said, I was a soccer guy. So for me, I never ever saw him as anything. I just saw him as on the scene, obviously live his dream. So going back, so obviously the first time I realized, hey, there's something that can happen here is when we went to the Project X.
Did you go to London?
We went to London, the Project X. So, why I ended up at Project X, and Pirates paid for me to go to with Lyle, because already Project X was in May, and already April that month already I was really speaking to Irvin Khoza. He really sent him first in training, and sent him. It was already once a week with the first team. So by then it was like, obviously small signs that
he's knocking. By that time he was knocking.
He's at 16, and Ivan's like saying no. So Khoza obviously said, "Oh, you must go to the first team." So he went like for one day, then for 2 months quiet, So you're thinking about again. So when I realized we went to Project X, and they played against, I think they played against QPR,
Okay.
and I think they won 3-2, and Lyle scored 2 there. And they played Reading, and they beat Reading 4-2, and I think he scored a hat-trick. And they played another team, an English team, and they lost 5-2, but he scored both. You know, then I'm sitting there and you think, yeah, 16, and they were playing like so-called reserve teams on the 19.
Yes,
and you think,
yes.
yeah, okay, kid is 16, and he's like, you know, doing decent, you know, because at that time you're not exposed to, the first time I'm ever in the UK, and you're thinking, my kid is like 16 and he's at least competing.
Because it's a level up.
Yeah.
So let's be honest.
And
In England, it's quite
yeah,
tough.
he's competing, and you're thinking, you know, and I always tell people the story. So obviously, Mpumi and Kosana,
Dr. Irvin Khoza's sons.
yeah.
Yes,
So they, you know, so I'm sitting there at the reception with them, and I say to them, because after this, you know, like as a parent, you're like saying, there you realize like, hey, maybe there's a chance here. So I remember me telling Kosana, I say, Kosana, you think by 19, you know, I can really be in the first team? He says to me, 19 is too late. I think maybe even by 17. I'm like laughing and thinking, you know, he's just joking. So that's only once when I realized when in the UK, you know, seeing that he's competing with guys that reserves, and that's obviously in the UK, and you're thinking, you know, yeah. So that's when I started thinking, so obviously going up to that, you come back from the UK doing well. He goes back with the national under 17. They play against Brazil and England in this some cup, just a friendly 3.
Yeah.
And they obviously play against Vinicius, because Vinicius is the same age, 2000s.
Yeah.
So I think Vinicius then beat, I think 2-1 or something, but he scores there. Then they play against the English team that had Foden and Sancho, and I think
also the same age as him.
Yeah, so Sancho and Foden was in that same, and obviously they won 2-1, and he scored both. So then you're thinking, you know, he's like international level, is also competing, playing against England and Brazil, and he's like, he won man of a match against England under 17, and so yeah, so when he just landed from that thing, you know, he was asked, can he come straight? He mustn't just come home, he must go straight to.
So from the airport,
they asked him to go straight to, when we pick him up, we must bring him straight to the Pirates offices.
The offices, yeah.
You know, so obviously, before like an hour, 2 days, they phone us in Lyle lands, please bring him to, the chairman wants to see him. And you're like, what's this about, you know? But obviously, like I said, we were like speaking on and off since April, and this happened at this tournament. Project X was May, and that tournament with the national under 17 was around about, I think, just June, July.
So a matter of like 2 months, let's say.
Yeah, 2 months. So obviously he comes back, and obviously we just land. We take him through to the chairman, and the chairman obviously said to him that, you know, I forgot what was the coach's name there at the time. And I broke in.
No,
the coach also from, I think also Ukraine, or
was it Coach Mitchell?
Mitchell, I can't forget Mitchell's name. So then he says, you know, Mitchell, obviously with Lyle training with the first team on and off, they thought there's an opportunity there, and they think there's potential. They asked us, obviously, we want to obviously give him a first team contract, you know, so you're like, so, you know, when you hear that, you know, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So then you only realize, okay, now the chances are, you know, again with him, you know, doing well, as a parent, you're hoping, and you're also thinking 16 is still young. And, you know, yeah, so for us, like I said, there's like building up, and me also starting to feel that, you know, now there isn't maybe a chance you can break in. And I thought maybe 19, like I said, by 16.
3 years earlier.
Yeah, they called us and asked us, you know, what is his schooling arrangement and all that. So Yeah, so it was a nice build up to him signing.
When you are 16 and you sign a professional contract, essentially you are forced to grow up. You can't do things that other 16-year-olds are doing. Others are going to birthday parties. You are in camp. You are in a hotel. How did you guys as a family find that for him? Because at 16, like I'm saying, there's certain things you're doing as a young person, certain places you're going, certain things. But when you're a professional footballer, as much as you're loving your dream, there's a lot of restrictions because of the rules that they follow. How
Sure.
did you guys feel
For
about
us,
that?
again, till today, again, so funny you say that because, again, I always tell people because, as soon as your son go professional and this one wants advice and that one, obviously, everyone's journey is different, so you can't
Yes.
obviously give them
There's
the
no template where you
yeah,
say
to say,
do
hey,
this,
do
do this.
this. So
Yeah.
obviously, I also tell the parents that, again, uh, when kids go to 13, 14, that's when they get to high schools and kids now, hang out at malls and get kiddies parties at Gold Reef City. So, I remember I was telling parents that I was speaking to now that, when kids get to 13, 14 and Lyle used to tell me, hey, Dad, this week I'm not going to go to football because my friend has a party at Gold Reef City. I'm like,
Yeah.
Lyle, but us, I always used to, when I was 13, 14, I used to say to him that, if you do something, you do it right. If you're not going to tell me this week you're going to play and next you're going to a party. So it's either you're committed to the football or we take you out. We're not going to have you like come and go. Because I used to say to him, again, I never know what happened to me, but with us growing up, my mother didn't worry if I go or not go. We used to
You
walk
had
to
a bit more freedom.
yeah, like my mom didn't knew when I played. So it was like, yeah, on Saturday morning, we all used to walk I grew up in Horseshoes. We used to walk as a group of friends to
To
Bosman
Bosman, yes.
and walk back. So if you play, you don't play. My mom didn't really care. So, yeah, so with me, I just felt like that. Obviously, if he wants to do whatever he does, we're not going to make him do it, like half-hearted, like
Sure.
now there's parties, now you go. So, I used to tell people, he used to cry and I used to take him to go to City 2 o'clock after they play for Pirates. So we usually play under 13 and 15 already, So because when he played two age groups, because I was doing well at the academy.
Yeah.
We get to drop him at go to City like past 1, 2, and you pick him up 5 o'clock and he's sulking in the car.
Because he didn't get
I was only on 2 rides. The other kids was on.
Yeah.
Next time don't take me to the party then don't take me. And we're like, hey, Lyle, it's what you wanted, we can take out the football, but you're not gonna tell me 1 week, hey, you're playing football, next week you're going to a party. So
yes.
growing up again when I was 16, and still today, my wife still tell our family and friends that, Lyle never had a child,
his teenage phase. Yeah.
because again, by 15 already I was in the national under 17 team. So, but again for us, him being so chilled and I think by that he used to even go still school holidays to Noordgesig and play. But like you said, when he got to 16 and obviously Pirates being a big team and now he's getting into the media, and it is now difficult for him to really play in the streets or
to do what normal
kids
do.
because then it's almost like put you on a pedestal. So so it was difficult because then by 16 we always say then I have to grow up because now it's training for the first team, come back, still do homework, So he was like, so he had to finish matric. We made sure he had to first finish his schooling. So it was like difficult, and like we always say, people just see him now, and again, kids have to sacrifice a lot, we couldn't be playing in the street or go out to 16 kids, 16 birthdays, and what Lyle again, I think by 17 he already went over to AS Monaco, so he started. I think he trialed for about 6 months, but on and off for a year. So he was also, so for him, by 16, 17, he was already, had to be an adult already, he had to obviously look after himself. We gave him his salary. already at a young age to obviously to teach him independence, to say this is your salary, you have to work with it, so yeah, like I said, at age 16, they got the salary.
Yeah.
So like crazy, at the 16 earning a salary that when I finished, I didn't even when I have my other job, my 16-year-old son was getting obviously more than
what
I
you
was
were getting in
getting.
corporate.
I was like, that's like crazy.
How do you manage that? How do you guys treat him at home? Does he is because now he's Lyle Foster, like you're saying, he's potentially earning the most money in the house now. How do you guys, as his parents, as his family, as his siblings, also perceive him? Because essentially, he's becoming the breadwinner. You guys put so much sacrifice into getting him to where he is, but then there's also where essentially he's still a kid. He's still 16 years old. Does he then do things other kids do? Wash dishes, scrub techies? Does he do that kind of thing? Or how did the dynamic change?
Yeah, it's so, like I said, so difficult. Going back, I think, because football was his life at the early age. So coming back from all these games used to, as me as a dad, I used to basically step in, do the dishes for him because I knew he'll be sulking because he's tired. So as a dad and mom used to step into him because he comes home, complain, he's tired, wife must massage him. But yeah, like you said, he's age 16. Was crazy. Now he gets this money, and for me, I just felt maybe everyone's different. I just felt, give him the money so he can learn money. Now not like we give him a stipend. We said, okay, you work at it, and you have to, if you broke, it's your thing. I'm not gonna baby you, So obviously we gave him the freedom to basically be independent with his own money, but sometimes I make sure to saving because I make sure that's like covered. But again, I used to tell people it was crazy, 16-year-old earning that money, and I used to tell people, there's a story. Imagine, in our colored area, or even any area where people, when it's December and people get bonuses, how everyone goes crazy. Even if you get a bonus of 5,000, like you can just feel December when everyone has
there's a change.
There's a change in there, and here your kid is like 16 and is getting this crazy money. So what we done with this signing on fee, we said to him, hey, we'll take your signing on fee and buy whatever you ever wanted as a kid, So he took his whole signing on fee, and I think about 60 to 70% he on obviously all the gadgets he always
it's
wanted.
The PS, the PlayStations that come.
So we said go, because to do what because obviously you work for it. And like you said, he's been always never played in the street with his friends, school holidays, the training. So for us, it's like you said, it was we just obviously had to, we left him also, and we also made sure that you make sure he's doing the right thing. So obviously, it's also dangerous when you do leave him and you can catch up,
Yeah, because you can imagine that there's adults that earn decent money and they go off the wires. They to lose themselves because when you have that kind of money, you're making that kind of money. As a footballer, you now have a bit more time because you go to training, and then in between that, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You have fame because people are now recognizing you.
On TV and in newspaper.
So you have all of these things that, if it's in the wrong hands, could be possibly destructive. But for Lyle, it clearly wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. Be honest, I'm not going to say it was times where they had to have a stern conversation to say, Lyle, the friends you're hanging out, where were they when things were not there?
When you were grinding and
we were
building,
grinding, So, but as kids, as me and as you, I think we all try and find ourselves, as much as our parents do warn us about some things. You think, I know better.